He's back. After all this time, we finally have Daredevil back on our screens, and I'm not talking about She-Hulk. I'm not talking about in some little cameo. We actually have a Daredevil series that, for the most part, follows everything we've seen from the old Netflix stuff. I say old, but it's been a while. I was super apprehensive about this. I am a huge fan of Daredevil, and I really enjoyed the Netflix era. You know, that was around about the time that Avengers 1 was released, and that was when Marvel as a whole was in its prime in the original Daredevil series, where they couldn't technically say that it was part of the MCU, but there were mentions of the Battle of New York, and I think towards the last couple of episodes there were mentions of like the Sokovia Accords and things like that. So to finally have that version of Daredevil as part of the MCU officially with his own series, that feels so cool to know that we've come such a long way. This is a bit of a spoiler talk, so if you haven't already seen episode 1 or 2 of Daredevil, make sure you go and watch them before watching the whole of this video. I'm not going to spoil too much, but there are going to be, I'm going to spoil quite a bit actually, thinking about like what's actually happened. The first episode was incredible. Like, this is how you start a show, and I feel like they could have gone two ways with it. They could have gone the way of people haven't seen the Netflix stuff, you know, it's been a while since that was released. Is that audience going to follow over? Yeah, they stayed true to the original series, and they didn't try avoiding anything. They didn't even really explain Matt Murdock's powers or abilities or anything like that. They just dived straight into it, assuming that we already know his story, and I really appreciated that as a long-time fan. There was no introduction, no long-winded speech about what he can and what he can't do. If anything, this is the best and most violent version of Daredevil we've ever seen. But the first 20-30 minutes of episode 1, I wasn't expecting it to go that hard. There's a couple of things that shocked me. Predominantly it was how violent it was. Like, this is Disney, we know that they kind of they try to sugarcoat things and dumb down the violence, but straight from the beginning we're getting knives being thrown everywhere, multiple people are being taken out, and it's crazy the first couple of minutes, and then it gets so much worse. This is a spoiler talk, so we're going to talk about it here, but Foggy Nelson dying in the first 20 minutes. Can you imagine being the actor? Like, I don't know the guy's name. I should have probably done a bit of research beforehand, but like, I loved Foggy in the original series. Bringing him back to this was incredible. We've seen him in all the marketing stuff. He's going around, he's doing all these interviews and promoting the show. He's dead. We may get like a couple of little flashback sequences, things like that happening in future episodes, but the fact that this guy has gone around promoting the show so much and he's in it for 20 minutes, that's crazy. Also, is it just me? Like, I don't swing that way, but did Foggy kind of glow up over the last couple of years? Taking him out at the very beginning was a big gut punch. It was a risky move, but I feel like it really set the tone. It was like Disney saying, we are not going to be taking it easy, we're not going to be dumbing things down. This is going to be a brutal and violent series. When the Punisher shows up, they're going to maintain that level of violence. I want to see more of Paige. I think she's a fantastic character, and there's a lot to unpack from the Defenders. What's happening with Iron Fist? What's happening with Luke Cage? Are we going to be seeing those characters reintroduced? What about Jessica Jones? Like, we've had a couple of nods to that era, but we haven't really explored it so far. Kingpin, though, oh my god, this guy knows how to act. I feel like in Echo he gave quite a good performance, but Vincent D'Onofrio is an incredible actor, and in Echo he wasn't able to really project as much as I feel like he may have wanted to. In this, he's all in. And again, we're only 2 episodes in, we haven't really seen what he's capable of. He's trying to change and build himself up as a different character, but we all know it's not going to go that way. We even got a nod. There was one scene, there was the reporter that came into Kingpin's office wanting to interview him as he had just become mayor of New York. And she was like, I was named after my uncle. I think it was uncle. This is the same uncle that he brutally murdered in the old series, and he's like, he was a good reporter, I remember him. There are a couple of weird little moments that I wasn't too keen on, particularly on episode 1 with the CGI body doubles. You can tell, like, as Matt is swinging and he did a little entrance in front of the church, and even that first opening fight scene, and you can tell that CGI body doubles are being used, and normally it's not noticeable, but I felt like the first episode in particular, it really stood out. And I don't know, because I normally watch things on my iPad because it's more comfortable chilling in bed, but I watched it on my TV, which is, you know, big 4K fancy thing. I don't know if I was just paying more attention to it or if genuinely it was more noticeable and lower quality, but I mean, it's not like the show is low budget, but it's also the same technique they've used for characters like Spider-Man. They use the same technique in She-Hulk, so I'm like, why does it look kind of fishy in this one? Or is that just me being a little bit nitpicky? But yeah, episode 1 was really good. I enjoyed it, and it gave a good introduction as to where the story is going to be going. Episode 2, you're introduced to White Tiger, which is a character that not many people are familiar with. Even I don't really know much much about the backstory and the lore behind it, but there's a lot of mystery and intrigue and stuff like that going on, and you can see that Matt is fighting his demons the same way Kingpin is, and you keep getting these comparisons between the two characters, and it's so interesting to see how alike but also how vastly different they are. I'm really intrigued as to where this could go, because it's going to come down to a showdown between Daredevil and Kingpin. But we've already seen it. So what are they going to be doing differently in this series that they didn't get to do in the originals? That's what I really want to know, and that's what I'm excited for as this plays out. Also, the whole legal thing, we still have elements of that. It isn't just a brutal, action-packed fight brawl between all these characters. It genuinely feels like there is story, there is action. You have multiple little branches, these little separate stories that are happening, like Matt's love interest is now being a counselor for Kingpin. How is that going to play out? Is that going to impact or at least lead to the final fight? There is so much going on. There's so many different variables to consider in all this, and it makes me excited. But there we go. That's my thoughts on episode 1 and 2 of Daredevil Born Again. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below and subscribe for more videos just like this. I love your faces. You're amazing and beautiful, and I will catch you in the next one.